All right. Hello and good morning, everyone. Oh, no, I gotta hit the live button. All right. Hello and good morning, everyone. Sorry about the rough start there, but I am still getting used to going live again. I can't even remember if I did a live stream last week. I think I did. I just didn't do a podcast version of the show. I should be able to get back to it this week, though. I'm feeling a whole lot better. So that's really good. And I actually am feeling so well that I managed to get in a live show, or I guess not a live show, a workout this morning. I don't really have a topic for this particular live stream because I tend to do the topics now just with the podcast, but I thought I would come on and just do a little bit of an update. As you can see, I'm in my formal spot this morning, but I'm not quite as nice and dressed up, so that's a little bit different. Actually, I don't like really getting dressed for doing live shows. I feel like this is kind of meant to be a little bit more informal and all of that. So I don't know what I don't really know what I want to talk about, to be honest. I definitely had a better week this last week. I'm feeling a whole lot better, which is also really nice because last week was really, really, really rough. So yeah, that wasn't fun at all. And I think I was still feeling a little bit not myself on the Monday, but it had mostly passed by the time Sunday had rolled around. I was just still feeling quite a bit more fatigued than normal on Monday last week, and it was nice that it essentially just, it went okay. So that was good. And I'm really, really happy about the fact that everything was okay after a couple of days. I'm always nervous now if I happen to get into a string of migraines that it's not going to be just a couple of days, that I'm going to end up triggering almost like a longer migraine, and that just comes from the fact of when you have chronic migraine, it can happen if you happen to overdo it. So that's the reason why I ended up taking a little bit extra breaks and extra rest last week, because I didn't want to happen to make one migraine that only possibly could last a couple of days into a 4 or 5 day thing until my needle kicked in. Another reason why I think I'm doing better is because I'm now at full dosage, I guess, of my preventative medication. So it takes a few days after I actually give myself that needle in order to get back up into the full effectiveness of the needle. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't want a holiday from it or a break from taking that needle, is because I get to the next dose and it becomes very obvious that I need another dose of it. So in a way, that's a little frustrating because it would be nice to have a little bit of a vacation and to know that it's possible to have a vacation, because when it comes to that needle, I can't actually have it when I decide that I want to have kids. So there's not enough known about how it affects pregnancy. I have a feeling that would probably be okay, but if you have the choice as to whether you actually make that decision or not, it's more, I think, comforting to actually decide that no, I want to be off of this medication when I actually have that happen. Sometimes you can't control it, but I think if I was to be able to have my choice, I'd want to be able to not have a problem with that. So that's my biggest thing, I guess, with the whole situation. So I haven't really talked much actually about with that kind of stuff, with in particular with IIH and migraines, because when it comes to the female stuff, I haven't really looked at it much myself because I'm not really close to that in my life. Being single and still trying to find who I am, I'm not really looking at that part of my life, and so it's come up as kind of distant thoughts, but it's not really come up as this is a really important thing that I need to have answered right this second. It's something that I hope happens in the future, but it's not something that I'm really desperate for an answer for, so I haven't really looked into it, and so I don't know much about it. That's why I essentially don't talk about it. I know that for some people it can be a pretty emotional thing. I will share that when it becomes relevant in my life, but as of right now, it's not very relevant, so I don't really see a point in sharing it, I guess, is the biggest thing there. Um, it's also a very personal thing, so I don't know how, if I will share it right in the moment with all of you, or if it'll take a few months and then I'll open up about it. I don't really know that because that's looking into a future that is not here yet. So why? I don't know. I just don't feel the need to stress about it. I want to have kids, but it's not something I want to do right now. And that's, I think, where I'm going to leave that particular topic. That went down a really weird, strange navigation. But, you know, one of the things I love about live shows is that I never know where it's going to go. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I film my videos the way I do, too, which is very similar to how I do a live show. Like, right now, I'm filming exactly like I would be doing a podcast. It's just the difference is I'm actually live on a platform right now. Like, so I have the option of actually choosing whether I just start streaming and then I have it set to record it automatically, or I can just put start recording. And right now, like, it's so that it'll make it, yeah, it's nice to be able to have the recording option go on at the same time. But like I said, I don't really know where these live shows are going to go sometimes or what's going to come up. It's almost like a meditation session too. Like, you don't really know what's going to come up on your in your mind when you do a meditation session. Like, sometimes it can be so peaceful and you don't have really much going on in your brain, and other times it's like your brain is a ping pong ball and it's like bouncing around as to all the different types of possibilities that are happening with one particular situation. And like, one meditation session to the next can be the complete opposite. It's quite fascinating to watch in the moment. Now, if you have something that you're really worried or nervous or anxious about, at least for me, I find that my brain tends to be a little bit more bouncy. But it's bouncy now a lot during the meditation session as compared to the rest of the time of the day, which is great in a way. Like, I don't want to have those thoughts suppressed. I don't like to have my thoughts suppressed in my meditation sessions, because if I suppress it, then that's going to come out at other times. Like, one of the best things I've ever done for my anxiety is taking up a meditation practice. I used to actually call this mindfulness, but it really is, it's not really mindfulness anymore. I don't really know how to explain it, but a lot of what I do, you might hear it described as what is called natural meditation. So I basically, when I wake up first thing in the morning, I often do have to go to the bathroom, so I do that first. And then I will just immediately jump on my meditation cushion. It's at the end of my bed. You guys have seen it. I've shared a photo of my meditation spot. It's actually, I'm getting to the point where I'm almost not wanting to film or have any electronic devices near it, because it's such a sacred spot to me, and it's so important that it's almost like I want to keep that kind of stuff away from it. But if I ever do a virtual retreat, it will definitely be my major spot of meditation. So I love having my equipment now because it's in the exact same spot. As soon as I hear that bell ding, it's immediate and I drop right into it. My body knows that that's where we meditate. So it's been really, really nice having that meditation equipment and dedicated spot for sure. What else do I want to mention this morning? Oh, I do want to mention one thing. So I actually did get in a workout this morning. So it's actually quite a bit lower because I actually increased the resistance today. I felt that the 7 wasn't doing it anymore. How do I want to word that? Wasn't challenging me anymore. So I decided to go up to resistance of 8 this morning, and I didn't go quite as fast because I noticed my heart rate was quite high. So it was, I think the max I had was 175, so that's kind of on the high end of where I wanted to be. But I was also, jamming out and dancing at the same time, so it could have been a little bit of both of that. But I decided to increase the resistance, so that's great. I missed last week, like I said, because of how I was feeling. I didn't want to tempt it too much. But yeah, I got in 5.7 miles at a resistance of 8. I was really, really proud of myself. And where am I at today? So I'm at 243 active calories, 35 minutes of exercise, and 3 stand hours. So that's really, really good for this time of the day. Unfortunately, I don't know if the stand hours will make it to the 12 or not, because I tend to take it quite easy for the rest of the day on the Sunday. So we'll see. I also have my stand notifications turned off because these Apple Watches can be like a really, really nasty ego at times. It'll be really, really mean to you in the way it speaks to you. Like, so if you have a really quiet day or a day where you just keep your watch off, it'll be like, you didn't move enough yesterday and you need to do better. And it's just, it's, it's like having a personal trainer right on your wrist at sometimes. And it's really, really, really frustrating because I keep those notifications on because sometimes it can be a little bit extra motivation, but most of the time you just want to like slap your watch and go, why are you being worse than my ego today? Like, I know I didn't move much yesterday because I had you on the charger all day and I forgot to put you on and I didn't really want to have my watch on. I actually like to give my wrist a bit of a break because I tend to need to have the watch almost too tight in order to get accurate heart rate measurements. And I actually monitor my heart rate because when I was dealing with IIH, one of the signs that I was about to go through a little bit of a rough patch with it was I would have an increase in my heart rate while doing absolutely nothing. Like it would spike to like 120 with like no reason. And it was really strange, but it was something that happened. And so I don't really know what was going on. I know that people with something called POTS, which is post orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Yeah, that's right. Um, they'll when they stand up, they actually have it documented on their watches that their heart rate is increasing, which is what happens with that condition. I don't know much about POTS other than I've heard a little bit about it a couple times and I've had a couple people comment about it. I don't have it, so it doesn't happen to me, but it's really interesting to watch how your heart rate behaves when you're moving compared to when you're not. Now, I actually have a little bit of trouble increasing my heart rate now because of my workouts. It actually is quite low. So, I haven't actually got this on, but I documented the one time. I think my heart rate was like 54 beats per minute. And like I said, I'm curious to know whether a consistent meditation practice and this whole journey is actually leading to a better resting heart rate because of reducing stress and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm not really a medical professional, so it's really, really hard for me to talk about this stuff in a confident way, in a way that I'm not going to cause harm. So I'm not really going to talk about that too much. But yeah, so I just want to make sure that I haven't received any comments or anything. It doesn't look like it. I am not very consistent when it comes to picking a time for these live streams because I don't honestly know. It's just I feel like now it's really, really hard for me to do content if I'm not feeling it. So, like, I did this live stream because I wanted to, and like with my content now, it's just kind of well, am I still enjoying this? Am I still having fun? Is this still something I want to do? It's a constant question I ask because when the answer turns to no, it means that I either need a vacation from it or it's time to change things up. So that's something that I also like to mention as well. But yeah, so I don't know. It's been great though. Like I'm really, really happy about the way things are going and the way things are essentially moving. And it's it's been a really, really good week. So that's something I'm really, really happy about too. Anyways, I guess I can get rid of this photo. So, yeah, I don't know. It'd be great though if I could get some people that would join me for these lives, because I think the interaction that comes with live shows is really unique compared to just watching it on the replay. But, you do you kind of thing. I know it's probably not the best of times either, and maybe what we need to do is create a poll, but the thing is I can't just do a live show on the spot. Like, these, I can see what comes up in the moment, but other than that, I can't really force this thing out of me. So, but yeah, I'm just really, really, really happy and really thankful that, like I said, that the migraine passed really quickly last week, and that the rest seemed to help quite a bit too. So I was able to do some other things like on my other TikTok channel. So that was fun too. I've actually done quite a few videos in the past few days on there. I kind of tend to go through periods of wanting to do a lot of content and then having I'm not feeling this. I'm going to take a long break. So I don't really know how to explain it, but that's kind of what's been going on with that. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a great time and I'm quite happy actually. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's been a great week. So I can't really honestly complain about too much. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't really have much else to say. So if I just, you know, when you're on a live stream, you want to constantly continue talking because, like, people don't really like it when you just sit there and stare into the camera in complete silence. I actually am one where I'm just like, oh, let's just actually do that for a few minutes. But, this has been great. Like, I've been able to talk a little bit about my migraines. I've been able to talk a little bit about my meditation practice. Oh my goodness. I mentioned my medication, I guess, as well, but there's only the one. So, yeah. I talked a little bit about something that I haven't really felt comfortable talking about. I don't think I'm going to do a video on that formally. So, if you guys have questions about it, feel free to let me know. Maybe I can do maybe some short videos on it, or maybe talk about it a little bit more in the live shows. But I don't know. It's like I said, you want to continue to fill space all the time, but there are some times where I just want to sit here and just go, life is amazing. So I don't really know what to say. It's been, I'm so happy too because I was able to increase that resistance on the bike today while still missing a week. I'm feeling really good because my meditation practice is honestly, things are starting to happen that is really, really difficult to talk about. And I really only talk about this with my family that is on the same journey as me. So, like, my meditation friends is really the only place I get a chance to talk about that. And it really only feels appropriate, but it's also like live shows are meant to be in the moment as well. So, like, if it's on my mind or if it's something that is really going on, that's when I tend to talk about it. Like, the podcasts are meant to be, I pick a topic and I raise awareness about that particular topic in a way that maybe you hadn't thought about before. But these live shows are really what's happening right now in my life. So it's hard for me to like not talk about meditation and my spiritual practices because it's what's happening right now. And when I'm not doing my videos or watching the content that I like to watch, which is honestly mainly meditation content, I swear, like, when this becomes a center part of your life, it's the only thing that you care about. And so it's all you really want to do is to watch this kind of content. But like, my meditation practice is like, it's going so much more beyond just sitting cross-legged and just, sitting there and watching what arises. Like, it's really starting to get into every crevice of my journey, essentially. It's really starting to be a constant thing. Like, so it's really hard to describe what I'm going through, but if I was to try and describe it, for those of you who have done anything that puts you into a flow state, might be the closest comparison, but it's not a flow state. It is, but it isn't. And beyond that, it's really, really hard to explain. But like, your day flows and things happen as they should, is the best way I can describe that. And yeah, so I don't know. I think that's it though. Yeah, I just want to sit here and like go. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience, and it's cool that it goes beyond the meditation cushion for me. The one thing I will say though is that I've been going through a lot of emotional stuff right now, so I would say it's been a bit of a rough winter in that particular part of my practice. It's been a very, very difficult period of time, and when those emotions arise, there's no running from them, there's no hiding them, there's no suppressing them. They come out. And so there's been a little bit of fear too, and that they're going to come out at like bad timing. And like, when I get frustrated, I do have a really hard time suppressing my emotions, which, if I'm trying to learn something new or whatever, can happen. But it's just like, oh, I just don't know how to explain why I'm so frustrated with this thing. But yeah, things are really, really good, other than the fact that there are some really, really, really strong emotions. I would say the biggest for me is, it used to be grief when it came to the meditation stuff. Or not the it used to be grief when it came to the migraine stuff, actually. Like, I went through a really, really dark period with the migraine and IIH stuff, just naturally. But I wasn't meditating then, so it was completely different. So I haven't really gone through like that grief again with with the meditation practice and the spiritual stuff. But I have actually been through some really, really rough emotions, and I don't know where it's coming from. You don't always know why, and actually you got to be content with not knowing why sometimes. But or actually pretty much all of the time, I don't understand why. Like, it'll just come over as a wave of emotions. It'll be there for as long as it needs to be, and then it'll pass. And actually, when it passes, you feel, at least I feel, extremely light when that happens. So that's really, really nice. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, but it's amazing how, the peaceful times are really, really peaceful, and the emotional times are just that. They're just emotional. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave this. I know I probably lost all of you as soon as I started talking about the spiritual stuff, but I think it's really, really important actually to have a strong spiritual part in managing life with IIH and migraines. It's why I talk about it. Like, if you can find a way to, manage your stress and anxiety, which I think is why you could make the decision to start a meditation practice. I think that's a really good reason to start, but honestly, that's not why I continue. Like, so this has gone beyond just having a meditation practice for me. Like, it's really gotten into a spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call that. I'm still skeptical as to, I don't know if it's just because I'm grown up in a polite society. Like, I don't like to say, oh, like, I've had a spiritual awakening. Like, what is that? What actually is that? And why is it important to tell people that? Like, I've experienced this sense in my shift in identity, and a shift in how I perceive over the past couple of months, for sure. Like, there's been a shift there. And for those of you who are on this journey, you're going to know what I'm talking about when I say that. But it's so much more beyond than just having this enlightenment. Like, I feel like it's almost an arrogant thing. I don't know. Like to say, "Oh yeah, I'm spiritually enlightened or I'm spiritually awakened." And it's like a way that we compare ourselves even more, and that's not what this is about. So, I don't know. I'm probably so completely off topic right now, but that's kind of how I feel. But anyways, I think that's where I'm going to end this cuz this one's getting a little long. So, I just kind of get into a topic and I start rambling. Welcome to my world. Um, so yeah, if you guys are wanting to join me and on all of the platforms, you can do so. Well, if you're watching this right now, you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're on YouTube and you want to know how to follow me across all my social media platforms, you can do so at the stuff here. I gotta remember which direction to go in. And then with that being said, if you want to have a little bit more fun, you can join my second TikTok account. It's at Ashley Enjoys Music, and I've done some really fun things on there lately. And I actually just did a video for my family that's a part of this meditation group, as well as my supporter tribe family that's a part of the my favorite content creator. And that video was so much fun to do yesterday. It took me forever. Like, if I was to. Okay, so if you guys want to know who have watched that video, how long it took me, I started at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then around 10, I paused for a little bit. And then I think it finished at between 10:30 and 11. So it took me about 2 hours to make that video, but it was so much fun making that transitions video. I had a blast. I mean, I was a little bit frustrated too at the same time at certain parts because it was taking forever, but I had so much fun with it that the frustration just it wasn't a problem. I got to live with the frustration in the moment, and then it was gone, and I was really, really happy with the way that video turned out. I had actually also, maybe one of the reasons why it took so long in the end too was because I had actually done multiple sections to it and then watched it back going, maybe I should actually figure out whether this is actually going to look okay. I watched it, I'm just like, oh man, that's absolutely terrible. I'm going to have to restart from the very beginning. And so then it took just beyond that. So yeah. Anyways, that's where I think I'm going to leave this one. So I will leave you there. Bye, everyone. Oh, whoops. No, there we go.